I just came out 3 hours ago, I think, and I wanted to try it out and see if it's any good. So I'll probably spend the next 2 3 hours just working on a project, um, and we'll see. We'll integrate it with Cursor, integrate it with Windsurf, and we'll give it a shot. I guess if you're watching this after the fact, I'm planning to probably make a much shorter version, so you can go find that if you're not interested in watching a long stream. So the first thing I'm going to do, go get my API key. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while because I really love Grok and I use it like fairly frequently, even though it currently doesn't have an API. I'm still switching over when I have some problems, so I have a feeling this might be one of those that I'm using very regularly. Actually, this is interesting. So we already, I did a video where I did this like cost per query thing. Granted, all these costs are always going to be based on token length, so it's not exactly one to one there. Cool. Nice. Blank my screen here while I create the API key. Gotta enter my name bills before the. Got the API key. I'm plugging into Cursor. Oh yeah. Question is now, can we actually plug it into Cursor? Let me see how I can do that. I think there was a way to do this if I remember correctly, like override a URL or something. Custom API key. Enable custom key usage. Probably definitely can do a climb. Or you use your own LLM. So this should be able to do this. Gotcha. I guess we can check real quick if Grok 3 is using the same OpenAI API format. All right, doesn't have the information, as we can see for ourselves. Hold on, let's compare costs real quick because I'm curious. Oh, I just realized I thought for a second I was muted. I'm not. Okay, so it's the same price as cloud, I think. See, what's the URL? We'll try with just plugging in the way that I did with DeepSeek a while back. Oh yeah, see, this should work then, because they're doing it the same way as DeepSeek did. Cool. So what's the URL here? The base URL, and we want to plug in the API key coming up. And now if I remember correctly, we just have to name the model correctly. Let me open the screen here. So let's just start with the Grok 3 beta. We'll try it. Not sure if that'll work. Oh, nice. Wait, what? Eh? So I'm pretty sure what just happened is Cursor did an update to quickly add this Grok 3 beta thinking, but it's not in here. Cool. So I think it actually should just work. It does not work with my current plan or API key. Let's do what we were doing then. I might need to just update my cursor. It's possible. All right, let's just update here. Let me look up this error real quick. Let me plug in the API again, the API key. Oh, hey, Doom. How's it going? Didn't see your message. API is not free, but I think it's the same as the as cloud. Um, from the pricing, at $3 per million. I think so. Cursor hasn't done an update yet to. Well, I guess we'll see after I add the API key if that's working. But It is actually reaching out to the right. Right. So if I do test here, let me switch to ask. Then I'm gonna switch to the one that I created. Probably gonna use try Klein. I guess this is a good opportunity to use this for a little bit. Oh, nice. See, cool. Hmm. So I'm gonna ask if there's a way to change this to a custom name. You can do that, and also I'm gonna check if there's an update. If we look at the update here, I wonder if they already. Let me Oh, hey, Doom, how's it going? Can't do custom models. You have to wait for Klein. Got it, got it. Thanks. Let's see here. So open router, how do we go about doing that? I need to learn a little bit more just in general. This is probably gonna be a recurring thing where I want to try it the day of. Yeah, that makes sense. That's true. We could just check real quick if it has it. Yeah. Let's see the models here. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense roughly. Like, okay, cool. So now we just need to figure out how to do it incline. See if it has the oh, it's right here. Okay, great. Great. That should maybe work. Nice. Cool. Cool. Let me get the API key for cool. Nice. All right, cool. Let's work on a project now. Let's see, I'm gonna figure out where this here's okay, so some sort of oh, screen for that. Go to settings. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it was the same thing with Grok. But, credits. How's it going, Doom? Have you already tried it? Using Klein? I use Grok 3 semi often, just generally. Just not with the agents yet. Nice. Cool. All right, let's do some stuff. Let's run this project real quick. I want to work on this for a few hours. Kind of get a sense. I remember we got stuck on some bug related to moving the bones, I think it was. Let me check. Oh yeah, dark mode. Sure, man. Yeah, I kind of got used to dark mode too, using all right, cool. So this part still works. Create a group. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why. I used to like light mode. Blasphemous. All right, so I think it's gonna either error out here. So I think I actually deleted the API key that we were using for this. Oh no, we actually got a 200. Cool, let me send it again then. Oh no, yeah, I created the bones. Great. You can tell by this green line, it's pretty tiny. But so essentially what we're doing here is like we're sending a sampled amount of vertices to cloud. It's gonna find like some places to put the joints. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me. This is you're probably like, what the heck this is. So I send. Okay, so it sends like when you have the selected vertices. I'm trying to create bones there, So then we can do animations based on prompts. So, like, let's say I have a boat and I want to animate the sails. The first feature that I wanted to add to this editor is animating the sails just by prompting, like selecting what you want to animate, and say, hey, I want this to move back and forth. And the way that I was thinking to do that is like you try to figure out where the bones should be. And then from there, you can manipulate the bones yourself based on what the user says. And you could have like, maybe 20 different types of movements that you do with bones and apply it based on, there's a sort of a middle layer there where you're like, hey, which animation should we apply? Yeah, thank you. I couldn't find anything else like this. There's lots of tools to animate characters, and that's because I think that's where the money is. Like a lot of animation studios and stuff, or I mean, if you're working a game or like animating character, see, it seems to me this is like mostly what all these AI animation companies are doing is just like the just characters like humanoids. But I was like, I want to animate anything, so I think that would be a kind of a niche tool that, and then I'm planning to like add a lot more stuff to this. So this is just the first thing, but I'm keeping track of the things that I'm using Blender for in my process of working on the game. And I'm just going to have a very simple blender sort of here that does those operations. So I'm going to have a decimate, so you can select everything, reduce the vertices. Granted, I say that. I don't know exactly how hard that is to do a decimate and keep the integrity of um, the model, but I don't know. It's worth a shot. And then maybe some simple sculpting. That would be really cool. Like my inspiration, I guess, is on Twitter. There's this. I think it's the Cash or something. Whatever. Is this guy that he made this Photoshop kind of thing? It was called like Ding Editor or something. Ding. I forget. But he made and he just did it himself. That was before AI. He's like building all of the uh, Photoshop features, and people were and I use this. It's actually pretty cool. So I figure you could do the same with Blender. Like you're not going to build all of Blender, but Blender is so complex now. There's so many things you can do. You could probably just build a simplified version, and people would. And if they could get in very quickly and use it, they don't need to download software. I think they might be interested. Yeah, that's the idea. I'm going to load in the ship's sails. And I got a really good domain for this. I'll show you. It's like pretty stoked to use it. So I'm gonna try selecting like this sail here, see where it puts the joints. So yeah, that would be the general idea to type this, but for now it doesn't really do anything. Just gonna do the bones. Okay, so we can see it created 3 different bones and they connect here. And now we're gonna have to do the next part of this, which is, I guess there's 2 ways to do this, right? Like, me plan it out first. Hold on, I'm gonna go get a coffee. I'll be right back. About a minute or so. I'm gonna test something real quick. Okay, it does show up at the top. The chats. Okay, so the reason why we left off here is because the general idea of just executing code that comes back from cloud is not the best. But maybe we can come up with. I was thinking you can make a bunch of kind of template movements, and then cloud will choose which template movement to do based on what the user asked. Might turn off this VS Code extension thing. I mean this NeoVim extension. I got like really into NeoVim for a little bit, but I was like, man, this is making programming so much more fun. But then for some reason I just like stopped. Actually, I might keep it on the side. All right. So I'm just gonna chat with the AI with a little bit actually. I understand. I make the text a little bigger so you guys can, anyone's watching. Yeah, this is the first way I was thinking of doing it. So you have a set of predefined animations. I do know there's sites currently doing something like this though. So because I've used quite a few where they're like I've been testing where they're clearly executing code coming back from an LLM. So there's probably a way to do it safely, or I assume there is. Sandboxing. I guess I'll learn a little bit more about how you can do that. I really like I really like that it's telling me. Oh, this is really nice actually. So, in another video I broke down like the costs for my last month of using Cursor and Windsurf. So I have a good reference of like how much I spent per query. And this is right in line with what I spent with per query with Cursor when I was using Cloud 3.7. So it's pretty clear that the cost is exactly the same. And that's what they said on the website. So we know if that's true, I guess. But yeah, it was like 5.4 cents a query for me with Cursor last month. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we could do this, right? I think for the purposes of this proof of concept, we could probably just make a few basic animations given a set of bones, like given like 2 to 20 bones. There's like 20 different types of. I think this tool is mainly for very quick animations, just kind of like really basic stuff. Maybe what we can do is like after after we generate an animation for the user based on the amount of bones they have, I wonder if it's possible you can make it configurable. So you can just like go in and mess with it yourself for a little bit. Because like that doesn't, I feel like that doesn't really exist so much. I couldn't find anything like that. It's like I could just mess with the bones, the 3GS bones. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this route. So let's talk it through, understand what we're gonna do. And the one thing I like about Klein too is like seeing the cost go up every time you query makes you just wary of it, I guess. Not to waste a bunch of queries on silly things. Can I close this castle? What the heck? Oh, it's probably because my zoom. I guess if you open this config, you're stuck for a minute. Okay. A JSON file. You have like keyframes. Okay. That kind of makes sense. But what are these values? Let's clarify that. Like, is that like their movement? So these are rotations. Or I mean like movement, not like x-axis. I'm not really convinced that we're gonna do this JSON file thing. I want something a little more. It's like, why is my context windows low? Is that the the go back to previous chat here. Okay, I think we should build like a couple files with different types of animations. We will limit the amount of bones that it creates. Maybe like it can only create like 3 to 5 bones. And then we're gonna ask Cloud, hey, what are our configurable parameters that we're entering into the bones? Like with 3GS, we're doing this animation. And so we're still being dynamic in terms of like based on what the user prompts, it should change the animation. But we're not actually obviously get code execution from LM, but we're going to get the config. I think we're not going to do JSON file though for it. Just like I think the first thing is like let's get all the variables that we're going to want Cloud to set for the I think it's the skinned mesh or something or the or is it the bones? What's the term here? Okay, so not these. I'm thinking more, yeah, like duration, not frame rate. Keyframe data per bone. I think that makes some sense. So basically we query and we say, hey Cloud, like what should the keyframes be given these four joints, this prompt, and this object? And the object is what the user set it to be. So I'm gonna save all these. Loop once. Probably don't need that. Linear step. This is probably gonna be something the user maybe can change, but not the LLM. Yeah, this seems cool. So I'm gonna just clarify before I continue that these are all the things that we need for animating with 3JS, the animating the bones. Nice. All right. I get to do the exciting part, which is we'll just implement something really simple just to test if this is gonna work. All right, so basically right after we generate these, we're just going to make a file. That's the first step. That's going to do some very simple animation. We're not going to call the LM or anything. We just want to first make sure that we can do some animation with this based on these values. So I'm just going to save a new file here. Or animation config. And we'll fill these out just to keep track of, maybe we'll add a lot more, but just to have a place for it for now. What should we call the first animation? Just like simple wave or something? It's also going to have a we're also going to pass in our parameters here. These keyframes, the duration. I'm going to attach a few files just so it has right context. It's been a while since I worked with this project, so I remember what I was doing. Okay, so I have this book for the bones, I think. Okay, yeah, I think we just attached this hook here, and then a few of these components, skin model viewer. I should learn about, like, by default, is Klein sending all the files? Okay, let's read through this, see if it makes some sense. Okay. Let's see where to put it. Oh, what is it doing? So let's read this because I'm not actually sure. When are we running this animation? Okay, we're not gonna accept this change. make sure here. Prepare for animation, and then once you have the bones, there should be some button that's like animate or something. And just keep it really simple because this is just a proof of concept at the moment. Describe the animation. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Generate skeleton. Yep. Okay, so we got these things. After a user selects, after the user has gotten the bones, so probably put something. Yeah, this structure is a little weird. Yeah, animation manager. Sounds about right. I like this. That looked like that was cool. What is it doing? That makes rough sense. Let's see, make sure we're applying it in the right place. Oh, cool. Here it is. So let's see. Cool. That should work. Oh, it's still going. Oh no, that's just the summary. Okay, cool. So we got this button. Although it seemed to have broken, it's probably an error. Sorry for the spazziness. That is definitely an error here. Yeah, just uh, what is this exactly? That's a good idea, Doom. Let's see. I think Windsurf has the memory bank by default, but I found that it was like between projects, it would be trying to do stuff from my last project. So like, it'll put in boat game stuff and the web app. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so I think I'm gonna make a to-do list of like things I should try with Klein because I haven't used it very much. But I think I'm probably gonna switch to it. I really like it today. So number one, well, I'll just note down what you said, the memory bank thing. Also, well, there's other things definitely I could check out, but let's figure out this here. Okay. Animation mixer ref. Oh, that's probably just something new they defined. That yeah, browser tools MCP. The only thing I've tried it, but I feel like it doesn't. Well, actually, I'd love to hear for your workflow how it made things quicker. Because for me, I was using credits, but it seemed to take quite a while for it to get the logs. Like it wouldn't be very quick. I could just copy paste. But I wonder, are you using it maybe for some other operations that help to speed it up, or maybe like if you have a lot of logs? Yeah, 100% Doom. That's a big one. Having big files for me, anytime you have, for me, I've noticed anything over 1,500 lines for cloud thinking, but probably depends what model. It really breaks down. But yeah, you're right. Probably for max performance, like even below 500 lines. I think one thing I need to actually, I should do this right now. Is client sending. Let's plug into Grok here. Like, what is it sending exactly? Can I customize that part of it? Like, just send one file, but not 'cause, the cursor agent, windsurf agent, it's a little bit of a black box, like, I can't really configure very much. So it'd be really cool if I can just go and say, "Hey, don't send anything that I don't specify." Yeah, it's a great idea, Doom. I do the same, but usually I get like 1,200 lines, and then I'll start factoring it. Definitely, there were a few manual refactors I had to do because I waited too long. As well, even like you try to do a refactor, if it's too big of a file, it's just like total disaster. What are you building, Doom? Out of curiosity. By default, lists all the files in the working directory. And you're saying you can write, yeah, auto refactor. Oh, nice. Cool. Thing I can give the client rules. Can also add a client ignore. That could be useful, maybe. Using augment. Hmm. I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. Curious. Another VS Code fork. Interesting. I'll check it out. I'd love to try another one. Are you also just trying it out, or do you like it better than Klein? Oh, it's a VS Code extension. Got it. Is it open source here? Let me look. Oh, they have a NeoVim plugin. Cool. All right. Interesting. Let's see what the area was here. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see if that fixed it. think that's a new code. I really like Grok 3. I used it pretty often even without the API, so it's really nice to have it here. So far, it's working pretty well, though I haven't tested the main implementation of what we're trying to do today. But I'm mostly just planning. I'm just starting it though, so we'll see if we can implement this somewhat quickly. I would be impressed if we do, because this is not easy. So simply what we're trying to do is we're trying to animate things based on what we're receiving from the LLM and based on our prompt. But first we generate the skeleton. Well, no error, that's good. So we got our little bones. We got a button. That's good. Cool. Let me just real quick see if it hooked up the button with the animation. That's an editor. We got our simple our apply wave animation. On click goes to handle animate click. Oh yeah, okay, so it's calling this. All right, let's try it. Oh, keyframes must have at least 2 time points. That's in this file. Yeah, I'm hoping this will be useful for if you are making a game. You can very easily animate anything, not super complex animations, but like a lot of things in your game, like trees, just make them move subtly and stuff like that. I think I'll leave the character animations to other websites. Or maybe I'll just use one of their, if any of them have an API for humanoids. So right now we're just putting in some sample keyframes, but that's going to be filled in by the LLM. We just want to see if it moves first. Let me look at the default wave config real quick, just to see what they put in that. Yeah, so they already kind of put in, this is what we want, just some sample keyframes, just to first check that the phones will move. I think that's all we need to do. Well, no error. That's good. Okay. So we need to have some printing to see that it actually made something. Because right now we didn't add code for any visualization. Just it's creating a 3GS animate frame or animate clip or something. Animation clip. So it's creating an animation clip. And now what we want to do is we need to, I guess let's just try to visualize it just one shot here in the editor. If that doesn't work, then we'll something a little different, but maybe we make a separate window underneath the editor to play the animation. I don't really want to modify the code in the editor, um, just for this test. Yeah, it's fine. Let's just actually just do it. Okay, so can we? Before we implement it, I'm gonna ask if that makes sense. And we just wanted to play once, so we don't want it to loop. Just play one time. Does the like messes with the bones? That was quick. All right, what did it do? So it made a new button that should call that function, and that makes sense. Cool. I think that's all we need to do. Okay, it says it created the animation, So I should have added some prints to verify, but let's play it, see what it does. Okay, I think it's invented something. I might just attach the relevant files just in case. Actually, let me make sure the bones are on the actual model. Okay, no errors. Let me zoom in here, so just in out of curiosity. See if we see any movement at all. If we don't, we'll just we'll add some prints to see that the animation clip actually. Okay. So let's go ahead and in this file, after we've created this animation clip, and let's also ask it to make it very dramatic, the positions. If we look at the positions, they're very small, changes. Some, oh yeah, Doom, I know I can copy the errors. I was talking about just validating that the animation has like the right values, but you're right, I actually chose to do this. Just make a function that can do some validation. Okay, but they did a very simple validation. So we changed these values, but I want to make them like way more pronounced. Actually, it helps to say just 5x more pronounced. Yeah, unit tests would be probably a good thing for this particular. I came from the game. Unit tests, not, but this is going to get pretty complex, and it's going to be great to be able to keep things. I know some people do more of a test driven approach with their development, so where they generate the AI generates all the tests and then they implement from there. Which I think some people did that. It's like a term for it before AI, test-driven development, I think. Like, there's no error, so it's simple validation passed, I guess. Let me zoom in here. If this doesn't work, I need another way to validate the animation. And it's possible maybe it was successfully created, but our visualization of it is not working. Let me click play again, just to make sure. Interesting. So your workflow is currently you make all the unit tests, then have it run the test, and then you review the summary. Honestly, yeah, let's give it a shot. Like, I'd love to try a new. Um, I've been in game mode for a while here, so I think for web apps and things like this, it's going to make more sense to do more. I'm going to ask it to make some tests for this file as a little experiment. Realistically, though, I probably want more integration test kind of stuff because I don't know if the unit test would give me a lot of interesting information here. Actually, no, it would. I think it's pretty well contained because we're not actually. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. So I'd like to bunch of. And install any libraries necessary. I'm gonna verify the command there. Yeah, just is pretty good. I mean, did they change the package JSON? Let me check. I'll just add it. Wait, okay, that works, yeah, as you can tell. See, will this tell us interesting things? Let's see. Validate proper flip. This will probably pass. Run it. We set it up in the package JSON. So you run the test, error happens and it fixes it. Oh, that's good. Yeah, because it'll return an error, just keeps going. If there's any problems. Oh, I see what you're saying. Instead of like my workflow, right, which is like run it, check it out, see if there's any errors. Your workflow is going to be much simpler. It's just going to be like npm test. Oh, there was a random. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to do it. That's pretty quick. Plus, it also would help. I think it would have more of a better idea of what went wrong. All right, let's see. So it's this line in particular. Acquire and trying to import this file. So you keep running the test until it passes. Hmm. All right, let's try that. That's a interesting. Oh, okay. You just specify probably just keep it and fix any error. That's kind of cool. I like that. And it's the added benefit of like you can be sure in the future they're not because like when I was working on the game, sometimes I'd break some other things I didn't notice. Nice. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, it's just okay, let's see what it does. I don't really like that it's modifying this file. Try to work back that we're I think it's already enabled. Oh, Jest doesn't support. Got it. All right, I guess I'll go ahead and just accept this then, just for the purposes of this. All right, that's fine. I'll probably change it back later, but for now, just like testing this. Cool. Nice. It passed. That's pretty fun. That's cool. Let's maybe add a bunch more tests. Let's ask it to like validate that the. I'll ask if there's any other tests. can we create to validate that the animation clip is created? This is really cool. I really like this work. Thank you for telling me this, Doom. This is really interesting. I think I'm probably gonna start doing this. Not only is it's just like less tabs, less moving around, less thinking. It's just a nice little satisfying experience. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. Let's see, it's making some more tests, I think. Correct number of tracks based on okay, cool. God. I used to hate writing tests. I remember um I guess especially you gotta do all the mock stuff. Really nice. All right, let's run it. It is interesting. I might have to investigate how I can optimize the cost because I think it's definitely costing more than if I was doing this in Cursor right now with Cloud. So there's probably some things I can try to do. Granted, it's always going to cost money, but I'm curious because it says Grok 3 is the same cost as Cloud. So got to be something related to maybe attaching more context than I think I am. It says 2.2 million tokens. Oh, and maybe I'm not sure if every time I'm sending a chat in this chat window, it's sending everything previous. And I think Cursor and Windsurf, they're doing some stuff under the scenes maybe to optimize, like, hey, maybe don't send everything in the chat window, stuff like that. So I think that's why, like, as I'm sending these queries, it's getting more and more expensive because it's sending the whole chat. I think that makes sense. So I should create new chats, I think. That's Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm also using Open Router, which I'll just use temporarily here. Yeah, that's a good point. Cool. Let's see if it works. Wait, so did it just fix an error that happened? Nice. It did. All right. Cool. This is pretty chill. Oh yeah, the test just passed. That saved us a whole probably it saved us a whole probably 30 seconds, maybe a minute actually, because you gotta run it and then you gotta click all the things. Over time that add up. Granted, I didn't read the code at all, what it just did, so I don't know. Okay, cool. So it says, I mean, I guess let's try it now. It added a bunch of tests, so maybe it works. And fix some things. Okay, we've run into that before. You know what we could try to do? I wonder if we can do some. Well, maybe not right now, but yeah, we could maybe try doing like integration tests and stuff. I think I'll create a new chat after. Yeah, because if I look at the cost, right now it's 19 cents. My normal cost is 5 cents per query. That's my average cost. So what we're gonna do now is like create a new chat and see if how much the cost goes down. Just click the copy button in the corner. I'm not really sure what you're referring to. I'm sure it was a good idea, whatever it was. Click one more time just to make sure, but I think it's not moving. I still think it could be a visualization thing. I'm gonna maybe ideate a little bit. I assume I ran out of credits. That was quick. All right, 1 second. I'll refill the bank. I'm gonna try to be a little careful. Fill- I already did. One moment. I guess it just takes a little bit. I'll reset VS Code if it does it again. So when I would just use cursor with 3.7 until cursor gets Grok working. Yeah, but I guess no, you're right. Optimizing costs right now. I should switch to the cursor because but I'm kind of experimenting a little bit to try to Okay, so right now I create a new chat, right? Before it charged 19 cents a query on that other chat. Granted, this chat is not making is not maybe reading as many files. So we'll try doing something substantial. Let's see what the cost is. Send animation click. Animations. What was it before? Actually, do not. So I don't really want that. I don't want it to automatically play. I like the you click a button and it plays. Click. I think I might do another window. Like I'll create a new file, and that's going to be our display window for the animation. So I'm going to reject this change here. Hey, Guap, how's it going? I really like Grok 3. I used it quite a bit before. They just made this API. Well, they just added Grok 3 to the API today, and I don't really know if I have a verdict on like how well it's working with Klein yet. I'll probably need to use it for a couple days, but I do know Grok 3 has been something that like whenever I was stuck with cloud thinking, it would usually help me. Before I had to manually copy paste everything, which depending on how big of the change, it took a while, but the change was. I would say also yeah for the people watching, I'm working on this animation tool. Um, it's going to be like you select the vertices and then you're going to be able to say like, hey, make the sail move, and then it'll query an LLM. Okay, well first it creates the skeleton, and then it will query the LLM like how it should move the skeleton, and it's not gonna like execute code from the LLM or anything, but it's just gonna plug in configurable values into all the bones and move the whatever you're trying to move. So the animations won't be very like super complex or anything, but I was personally struggling with doing simple animations. I didn't really want to learn how to use Blender. I just wanted to do something really simple. So that's kind of my idea here. It's just have like a website where it has a bunch of simple tools that you can build for like if you're trying to make a game. Maybe you're just doing like a prototype or something. But who knows? Maybe the animation will actually be good. I haven't really, I haven't got the full thing working yet. All right, so And then, following Doom's suggestion, I think it makes sense to we just generate some more unit tests for this. That's a good way to do this. Because right now I just stuck it in editor, right? But basically, anytime I'm doing something new, just make a new file, do a bunch of unit tests to validate, fix all the errors. It'll be a really quick workflow there. Yeah, and co-ops. I'm gonna make a video after this, just kind of like a quick summary. I think in general, my channel is gonna be like, I'm gonna live stream if anyone wants to kind of just hang out and um, basically just hang out. Um, and then I'll just make like summary videos, kind of just for people who just want to get the quick gist of what we're doing and some learnings. All right, so we removed the. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think I created the new file yet, though. Oh, did we create the new file? Oh, we did. Cool. All right, so now let's make the unit tests for this file. Let me just make sure that, granted, if we do the unit test approach, we need to do. I think actually I'll hold off on that because we need to figure out that one issue we're having with all the imports. I don't really want to change every file to use the common, whatever we called it, common JS import. Yeah, I mean, if we timed that, that probably was like a minute. If we do the test approach like we just did earlier, it'll save us a lot of time, just like over the course of some hours, right? Okay, no error. Let's just make sure. I'll look at the code real quick. Play animation. Um, Interestingly, I think they put the play animation in their file. They put it in this file. Oh, I see what it did. It's I think it's still using the editor and trying to play it here, but what we wanted was to create a new window under it, so we need to clarify that for it. Maybe a little experiment we could run here is after we run this query, if it doesn't work, we're going to switch over to cursor, try the same query in cloud. So, but for this experiment to be valid, let's make sure to create a new chat. Yep, it's true. My hotkeys are a little screwed up in VS Code. I have it on IntelliJ, so I do that with cursor windsurf, but I don't really remember what I said. I think I set it to IntelliJ hotkeys, maybe. Let's see, why are we modifying this? I guess that's fine. Nice. Look at this. Cool. All right. It's not impossible that this could work. Let me do a valid selection here. Just select the whole thing here. Okay, so we got some bones, like the wave animation. Okay, what we should do is add some visuals here, maybe to cross-check that it actually has the bones here too. I don't know. But let's play the animation. No error. I wonder if it's something like, hmm, there's a 3JS Chrome extension. I wonder if we can just jump in there and yeah, let me try that actually. I have it installed, so this might be a good time to just experiment with it a little bit. Okay, so let's open the 3GS section. Oh yeah, look at this. Cool. So we validated at least part of this. Like, okay, so we got our bones and it's attached to the mesh. It's great. Okay, so we know that's true. But I do not see anything related to the animation. Let me play the animation just to make sure, but yeah, I don't see in the scene, I think we should see some animation thing under the skinned mesh. It's possible we're creating this animation clip, but then not attaching it to the skinned mesh. Like we have to create it and attach it, not just create the. Okay, cool. I think that's the issue. Let's try it. I think after this, I'm gonna switch to cursor to do a test. Oh, sorry. Oh, I see. This is a good feedback co-op. So add some music to the background. That's a good idea. I guess I didn't do it because I was like, well, people can play their own music. Like, but I think it's worth experimenting. Just add some music, some simple things in the background. Hey, Hikmet, how's it going? Yeah, no worries. Bit monotone. Yeah, I think partially my voice maybe. But yeah, you're right. Probably should add something maybe to keep people engaging. I guess I'll look at what other streamers are doing. Like if they're making a game, are they doing any music? Get kind of an idea of like what people expect when they're watching something like this. Cool. Let's see if it actually. Yeah, that's true. And I can always take suggestions like based on what people want to listen to. But I'd probably just play something simple. Nothing. Maybe I should play like AI generated music. Yeah, I don't think this is the issue. It's saying that it's already attached. So I'm gonna just validate. Can you show me where the code is that it is correctly attaching the skinned mesh? Okay, so this is an apply animation, animation manager, create animation clip. Okay, yeah, that takes in a skin mesh and then it very clearly. I'm gonna plug this into the other chat. Wait, couldn't we make a test that's like, oh, we could call it like 3GS hierarchy test. It would be that's a good idea. I think I might do that because then we can just validate there. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. We're just gonna add it to our current unit test. Say, like, after passing in a skin to mesh, is it added? One thing you can do with Klein, use DeepSeek R1 in plan mode, and use Cloud in act mode. That's a great idea. That is a really good idea. Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. Thank you. 'Cause you're right, you don't need the most advanced model just to plan out what you're gonna do. Okay, so it's attached, this can match in a logical sense, but not in the scene hierarchy. Just plug that into the other chat. Oh yeah, I just realized I didn't switch to plan mode when I was querying before, so that's what I should make sure to do. I usually don't use Klein, but I'm really liking it, so I'm probably gonna switch to it. Ask if you're okay with the modification. Once changed, yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely should make sure I switch to the plan mode. I love that people like join and just give like really good suggestions. Pretty cool. And it'd help other people too if they're any other people watching them might be like, oh, cool. Let's see if it's understood what I was saying here. This might work. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't tried plan mode at all yet, so okay, let's check the hierarchy again. See if anything changed. Oh, I'm not in Chrome. That's all right. Let's just see if it plays the animation. Let me switch to Chrome here. Hmm. I don't see the skinned mesh. I wonder, did it just break something, the last change? Strange. It doesn't appear to be undoing anything. Okay, so let's just copy what it was before, I guess. Oh, I just undid this. Okay. Just out of curiosity, if that's the issue. Yeah, see, we got our skin mesh. So I guess that last change, it broke something. And I'm going to commit because I like our progress. I think we haven't quite figured this out, but I think we're probably close. Yeah, let me go through my files real quick, find this now. Charge my laptop. So when I click play animation, I assume we don't see any. Yeah, these are all changes. Hmm. Right. So our next step was we were like, okay, let's try to maybe make a unit test or something to validate from the editor side. But instead of a unit test, maybe let's just make a quick function, validate that. Well, it's either we do that or maybe we switch to another model and try that. I think that's more interesting at the moment. Actually, I think it's my recents. No, maybe not actually. Oh, one sec. So, because there's also a chance that this 3GS extension, since it just came out 2 days ago, that they don't include animations. I wouldn't be surprised that that might maybe wasn't a priority, but honestly, maybe maybe if we print out the hierarchy, we might be able to see more things, just in general. Cool. Okay, cool. So we have our button here. Yeah. After seeing what's possible, I'm I'm definitely interested in making this more test driven. Oh, let's try this. Oh, still going. All right, awesome. We got the hierarchy. Nice. So we know there's no animation on the skin mesh, right? Because we don't see it here, and it definitely would print it. Okay, interesting. Now let's plug that back in. And we're using a different model here, so if it figures it out really quickly, it's going to be good to know. And let's use the simple animation. And I think that's it. Oops. Oh, it's not a 3JS object. A controller object that updates properties. Oh. Hmm. Oh, and also let's add prints. Let's do this. And also let's add prints for the is playing. Extra print validations in the is playing area of the code. Because then we can just plug in the prints and they'll probably identify what the issue is. All right, that's a lot of logs, man. Cloud adds so many logs that I gotta plug in to delete all the logs in the file because it's kind of a pain to clean up later. What was that? Wait, heck yeah. That is really strange, but it's doing something. I'm actually really stoked that it's doing something. Oh, actually, oh, we're so close. The reason it's doing that is because we made it extremely dramatic in the in order to test. So let's make it a more reasonable value and see what it's gonna do. Oh, I'm stoked. This might actually work. All right, so let's make this like. Let's just ask the AI to do it though. So this is good to know. You know, like we switched to cloud, and then immediately got it fixed it because I wasn't even asking it to fix that. It just added. I asked it to add logs, and it fixed the problem. But that's just one data point between the comparisons. All right, let's see it. Now it should be a much less pronounced animation. Okay, we got our little bones. Apply it. Let's see what it does here. Interesting. So it's moving the whole model. And so that's really interesting to know. But I think we're so close. Like, okay, it's moving the whole model, but we just need to make sure that, and I think I know why, right? Because right now the whole model is the skinned mesh, and we're applying these bones to the whole model. But what we need to do is create a new 3GS object for just this section, not the whole, not the whole model, and then just move that section. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. Imagine the sail is this kind of flowy looking thing. And then there's a secondary bug that it's moving the ship a little bit over, but overall, I think this is pretty good. Got progress here. I'm probably gonna I'm probably gonna end the stream now because I kind of have a hard cut off, like 3 hours or so. But I think I'm gonna work on this tomorrow. So thanks for anyone who's still watching, and also the suggestions on the stream were super helpful. Thank you for that.